Hey everyone, this is a BF Wilmer of BW1979 of BW Roses, as you know me on the Sonic sites and here on YouTube. And I want to talk about Sonic's love life. I know that's kind of been talked about a lot lately, but I guess I want to talk about it a little bit. And I want to start off with the one true first love in Sonic's life, none other than Princess Sally Acorn. Now, a lot of people in the past couple of years have been wondering, who are probably new to the Sonic the Hedgehog comic book, why there are fans that fascinate and talk about Sonic and Sally's relationship so much and support it. The reason is Sonic and Sally were well, basically the reason was Sally was Sonic's first love. That's right, and it goes not just all the way back to the beginning of the comic book. It goes all the way to Sat Am, the original Saturday morning cartoon on ABC. The reason, and that is one of the reasons, or if not the true reason, fans love Sonic so much and love to see him with Sally so much. However, the comic book is what really sparked a lot of interest in the relationship more than anything. From the very beginning, from the early stages of the comic book when they first met, to it being revamped to where they were already had known each other as children, to the point that in issue 125, I believe, issue 125, Sonic gives his life for the planet, and this upsets Sally to the point that even though she doesn't know he's alive due to the fact that he was blasted into another galaxy, and he comes back a year later, to him it's about a few weeks, but it's actually a year later, Sally is still a little traumatized and still hasn't gotten over the fact that Sonic nearly died. Because of this, she is determined not to have Sonic fight anymore. After Robotnik or Eggman threatens to do a triple threat takeover, and that is which is started by Sonic and the Freedom Fighters, Sally, in the issue 134, known as So Long Sally, on the cover, doesn't want Sonic to fight anymore. She begs him not to do it because she wants him to be by her side. Again, this is at a time when Sally is still a little upset at the fact that Sonic nearly died for the planet and she nearly lost him. The reason she's upset is because Sonic and Sally, before this, had some problems. For example, Sonic was involved with another character at the time called Mina Mongoose. Well, not actually involved, it was kind of like in a split area, kind of like in a tough decision area for Sonic, because he didn't know whether he was attracted to Mina and wanted to be with her, or if he was attracted to Sally and still wanted to continue a relationship. Fortunately, in issue 123, after Sally is captured in issue 122 by Knack the Weasel, Sonic, along with Mina's help, comes to Sally's rescue. Now, Sonic and Mina split up around Knack's warehouse. Sally is able to get away herself, and thus ends up meeting up with Sonic in the hallway, in which she is glad to see him, and finally proclaims to him that she loves him, in which Sonic replies that he also loves her, and they kiss. Then later on in issue 124, Sonic and Sally again are basically full-fledged renewed together as a couple, and Sonic and Sally decide it's time to pop the question. What is that question? Well, the question is posed to the parents, not each other. What is posed to Sally's parents is for Sonic to be her fiance, if you will. I can't think of the name of it right now, but her fiance, or the one that she will be married to in the future. Unfortunately, again, due to Sonic giving his life in issue 125, thanks to nearly giving his life, I should say, after an attack by the Zordon, an alien race, in issue 125, and then being gone for a year, Mobius time, and then having Sally give him the ultimatum of either staying or breaking up, Sonic decides he's got to stay in the battle against Robotnik. During the time after the breakup, Sally ended up being put into an arranged marriage which was already arranged a long time ago by her father. This marriage coincides with what her father saw in the source of all, basically telling her she has to marry Antoine. However, unknown to her, unknown to the father, and unknown to everybody, even Sonic for a while, that the Antoine she is going to marry is not the real deal. As a matter of fact, the Antoine she is about to marry is Evil Antoine, aka Patch, from the Evil Dimension, from where Sonic's evil twin, Evil Sonic, or now known now as Scourge, is from. So basically, in the end, Sonic ends up stopping the marriage from going full force, or full circle. Sally's brother comes back, becomes king, and annuls Sally's marriage, thus allowing Sally to end up with anybody she wants. Later on, Sonic ends up getting together with another character known as Fiona Fox, and I will get into that in a little bit. However, after his situation with Fiona ended, there were signs of him and Sally kind of being together again, little hints of what could be. For example, a prime example of this is the special comic book series first written by Ken Penders and then continued by Ian Flynn, known as Mobius 25 Years Later. Here in Mobius 25 Years Later, Sally and Sonic are married and they have kids. Now, no one has really declared if this is the true future or not, if it's a possible future or not, but one can only guess and see. Due to the fact that nowadays in recent issues of the comic book, Sally and Sonic are back together. Not as a couple, but as friends. Basically patching things up and being on talking terms once again. However, according to many fans, including yours truly, there seems to be hints that they will be getting back together. Rather very soon. As a matter of fact, I think Ian Flynn once quoted to me and many others on his site, although he might deny it, that he is working on a possibility of getting these two back together. But that's all I could say right now for Sonic's first and original girlfriend, Princess Sally. And now I am going to talk about another girlfriend, or possible girlfriend, or wannabe girlfriend, in Amy Rose next. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, this is BF Warmer, or BW Roses, or BW1979 as you know me, and I'm here to continue my discussion on Sonic's love life. Now, I started out with Princess Sally, and here I am now going to talk about another love in his life, or wannabe love, in Amy Rose Hitchcock. Now, for some of you that don't know Amy Rose Hitchcock or who she is, let me explain. You see, in the mid-1990s, just around the time that the cartoon SonAmy was going off the air, or had just gone off the air, Sega introduced a new character in one of their games for the Sega CD system, and the game Sonic CD, and that character was none other than Amy Rose. Now, Amy Rose, believe it or not, when she first debuted here in America, was not known as Amy Rose. Heck, she wasn't even known as as Rosie the Rascal. No. The name they gave her, believe it or not, was the name of this character, the one I just talked about earlier, Princess Sally. That's right. When the Sonic CD game came out, Amy Rose was named Princess Sally. Now, a lot of fans like myself was like, what the fuck? You know, why would you name a character like Amy Rose, Princess Sally, when it's obvious all the fans already know who Princess Sally is and what she looks like? Now, anyway, after that occurred, Sega of America decided, alright, there is a Princess Sally already. We don't need the confusion. We don't need fans being angry. So they decided to name her Amy Rose. And for 6 years, Amy Rose was always known by that design that you see her in. Was always known as a sweet 8-year-old to 10-year-old Hedgehog that had nothing more than a crush, head over heels crush, if you will, for Sonic. Now, in the comic books, she retained that same crush and same love for Sonic. But according to some, she stayed out of the way or out of the picture for a while out of respect for Princess Sally's love for Sonic. However, in 2001, I think it was 2001, I'm not totally sure. I think it was around 2000, 2001. Around the time the Sonic Adventure game came out, the Sega of America decided to take a chance at changing Amy Rose's appearances. So instead of her having that little original design that you've seen her in before, the little girl design, she now has the look of a teenager with a red headband, red dress, red boots, and she still retains her hammer, and most importantly, she still retains her crush on Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, in the comic book, the way this was explained is she used the Ring of Acorns, a mystical item that grants wishes, only can grant one wish, one mega wish that would use up all its power. Now, when Amy did this, Amy went from what she was when she first debuted in the games and the comic books to what she is now in the games, comic books, and in Sonic X. Thus, still retaining everything that was about her. But just as many fans alluded to, as it was also alluded to in the comic book by the characters, even though Amy changed her appearance physically and aged physically, that mentally she was still the same Amy Rose Hitchcock that has, well, basically, she's still the same Amy Rose Hitchcock of 8 to 10 years old that has a crush on Sonic. As a matter of fact, it was depicted in a short story that focused on Amy Rose becoming a freedom fighter, that the reason Amy wanted to do this was not because she wanted to join the freedom fighters on a mission to Station Square, was because also she wanted to be around Sonic. Now, sorry about that, but now, after that, Amy still stood by the side, if you will, or stood on the sidelines out of respect for Sally and Sonic's relationship with each other. However, when Sonic was blasted into another galaxy at the end of 125 and then returned about a year later, which resulted in him and Sally breaking up because she didn't want to see him on the battlefield, Amy Rose decided to open up again, decided to take a chance at being with Sonic. Now, this again was put on hold. When Sonic got involved with the character that I mentioned earlier in my Sally talk, Fiona Fox. However, believe it or not, it was Amy Rose that revealed to Sonic, along with Tails, that Fiona Fox was not really in love with Sonic. The truth is, and I will get into this when I talk about Fiona a little bit, the truth is Fiona was just using Sonic. And again, Amy Rose saw this as an opportunity. Then depicted in a backstory that starred Amy Rose alongside Julie Sue Echidna, who is Knuckles' girlfriend, Amy Rose admitted to Julie Sue why she wanted Julie Sue to train her. The real reason, so she can impress Sonic and be with Sonic, and so Sonic can choose her. However, Julie Sue said, hey, that's cool and all that's cool, you want to do that, but let's be honest with each other. But let's be honest, you can't just think becoming a better freedom fighter is going to impress him and have him win your heart. You get what I'm saying. But again, Amy would not take no for an answer. And she has done everything in her power, basically since the Sally breakup and the Fiona breakup, to try to get Sonic to notice her. As a matter of fact, in the issue where Antoine proposes to Bunny to be his wife, which I think is issue 173. Yeah, 173, I believe. Amy Rose holds Sonic's hand and asks him if he gives him any ideas. In which Sonic, just rolls his eyes like, not really. Basically, that is just Amy Rose trying to pursue her dream. Now, give Amy Rose's character credit. She will not give up on Sonic. No matter what the circumstances is, no matter who he gets involved with, she always will never give up on her goal to make Sonic her boyfriend. Now, in Sonic X, at the end of Sonic X, the season 2 ending, I should say, Sonic is giving her a flower. Thus, in the third season that followed, makes everyone believe that maybe Sonic and Amy are an item now, farther from the course. Sonic just did that out of friendship, although at the end of season 3, you might think otherwise. Alright. Now, I will give Sega credit for the Sonic X series for kind of bringing Amy Rose and putting in a mixture of what she has been known for in the comic books and in the games, but also mixing in a little bit of that attitude that says, okay, I have to put this, the cause that I'm fighting for first before I do anything else. Even though there are times she still likes to impress Sonic. But anyway, I thought I'd just kind of But anyway, that's all. I just thought I'd kind of talk about Sonic's second love in his life, or wannabe love, which is Amy Rose Hitchcock, and how this character, despite how Sonic feels about her, still has that goal and dream to achieve and wants to see fulfilled in having Sonic as her boyfriend. But up next, I'm going to talk about Fiona Fox. Stay tuned, everybody. This one's going to be interesting. Hi everyone, I'm back. BF Warmer, that is back with his look at Sonic's love life. Now, I just previously mentioned Sally, and just recently I just talked about Amy. Now let's talk about another love in Sonic's life. A love that was known as a false love. And that is the love with this character, Fiona Fox. Now you might ask yourself, who is Fiona Fox? Well, Fiona Fox was originally introduced in the backup solo stories of Tails, known as Growing Pains, back in the mid-1990s. The reason she was introduced was to lure Tails into a trap, even though the two fell in love during the story. But what was surprising about this is that the Fiona that Tails met in the story was actually an animatronic version of a real Fiona. Now, here's the catch, however. Even though Tails defeated the animatronic, and was heartbroken at the fact that she was a robot and had rusted in the fight against him, he did, however, vow someday to bring her back to life. But here's the ironic twist about it. What Tails didn't know at the time was that Fiona was based on the real Fiona when she was the same age as Tails. But what Tails doesn't know is the real Fiona is actually Sonic's age. Believe it or not. It's true. The real Fiona is Sonic's age. And Tails didn't know this. Now, after Sonic came back from his journey, everyone started noticing Tails still was hanging around the real Fiona during Sonic's time, I should say, in space, and then afterwards, Fiona had joined up with the Freedom Fighters. And what Sonic had seen was Tails had developed a huge crush on the real Fiona. Now, here's what's ironic about this. Even after Tails encountered the fake Fiona, when he went on to a journey to the Down Under, and I might explain this sometime down the road, but when he went down to the Down Under, he ended up befriending a whole group a group called the Down Under Freedom Fighters, and more importantly, a character by the name of Barbary Koala, who you might say is about the same age as Sonic, maybe a little younger. Why do I say that? It's because when Sonic and Tails end up in the Down Under during the worldwide journey, Barbary greets Tails with a kiss and starts flirting with him, holding his hands, kissing him, blowing him a kiss goodbye. I mean, you name it. But I'll get into that another time. The reason I say this is because now we fast forward and we see Tails going all gaga over the real Fiona, who he had developed feelings for, even though the Fiona he developed feelings for was an animatronic. But here's the real irony about all this. Here's the real irony. Later on in the comic book, Tails' crush really did crush him. Really did crush him because he ended up walking in on what looked like to be, and obviously was, a kiss and embrace by both Fiona and Sonic. And just put yourself in Tails' shoes. Here you are, looking for Sonic, looking for Fiona. You end up both finding them doing something that God only knows you wish they wouldn't. But anyway, Fiona had to explain to Tails right then and there that she did like him very much. In fact, probably more than he knows. But that when it comes to a relationship, romantic-wise, she rather prefers people her age, like Sonic. Now, this did, however, temporarily, and it culminated in issue 178 and 179, most importantly 179, in Tails being angry with Sonic. In other words, it developed some tension. Now, for a while, you never noticed that tension. Because Tails seemed to be all calm and everything. And Fiona seemed to be friendly with Tails and Sonic and everybody else. However, before 179 took place, it was revealed in 172 that Fiona was actually in love with Scourge, aka formerly known as Evil Sonic, formerly Sonic's evil twin from an alternate dimension. And the reason she was in love with him was because she fell in love with him when he was impersonating Sonic after he had tossed Sonic into his zone temporarily. And she was one of the very few, if not the only person, to realize this wasn't the real Sonic. This was a fake. But in the same time in doing so, she also started to develop a liking for this raw side, this kind of bad boy rebellious side that Scourge had. And for a couple of issues before 172, Fiona had disappeared. No one knew where she was. Until 172, when I mentioned in my Amy Rose report that it was Amy Rose, along with Tails, or through Tails, that found out Fiona was actually cheating on Sonic. And that this whole relationship she had with him was nothing but a facade. A false, fake facade. So in the end, what happens is Fiona ends up going with Scourge and thus dumps Sonic in the end. But still, her presence being there and her being with Sonic created the tension between Sonic and Tails, as I mentioned earlier, and thus, as I mentioned, culminated in a fight and then an understanding in 179. But anyway, Fiona now is with Scourge. And Sonic, right now, is with no one, with the exception of the possibility of Sally in the near future. But that's all I have to say about Fiona. As far as her character goes, and if she'll be back as a freedom fighter, no one really knows. But that's all I have to say about her, and I hope you enjoyed this three-parter I did on Sonic's love life. And if you want to hear more, just let me know. Just tell me what characters you might want to hear me talk about when it comes to love or anything else. Peace.